Okay. So we'll do the all blues. All right, welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 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 Don't make me use my teacher voice. I taught literature at Duke Ellington High School for many years. Thank you all for being here at Art All Night, and I want to thank the Hillyer for inviting the artists and the poets. Let's give them a round of applause. And my name is Kenny Caroll, and I am proud to be here amongst this amazing exhibit that the Hillyer has for us. I know many of the poets who will be here tonight that you will hear have come and taken in the work, and it's definitely, you'll hear some influences in their works. And I also want to introduce Brother Christian on guitar. Let's give him a hand. Charles Christian. Brother Charles Christian on guitar. And the gentleman on bass is well known in Washington, D.C., one of our greatest musicians who's graced stages with the likes of Dizzy Gillespie. I love him because he's a great musician and because he's my cousin, Emory Diggs. And so, in the tradition, I'm going to start off by honoring one of the greatest Washington, D.C. poets by the name of Sterling Brown. If you don't know who Sterling Brown is, Sterling Brown was one of the great poets, Howard University professor, native Washingtonian, and also his work, you will find a lot of his works in any collection of the Harlem Renaissance. He was D.C.'s first poet laureate and an inspiration to us all. And I can say, because I'm very old, that I actually was his paper boy when he lived in the Brooklyn area. And he would complain about me hitting his door with them papers in the morning. So this is a piece to honor him that was written on the occasion of his passing and was performed at Howard University. The music that Emory and Charles was playing is Miles Davis, All Blues. All Blues for Sterling Brown, January 14th, 1989. The music is all blues for the brown blacksmith of blues poetry. Swing that hammer steady, Bo. Strike them chords that move us. Tell us how we can be strong men and women in the face of these times. They don't come by ones. They don't come by twos. They come by tens. But if we all come together like all the blues that ever was, maybe we can swing that hammer steady, Bo. That hammer that strikes with all the injustice in our lives. Ain't no hammer strikes like your hammer, baby. A hammer of blues to forge the steel of our black souls, to make our metal sterling. Say, when he gets to heaven, Sterling, sit down and rest a spell. Light up that pipe and commence the singing them blues you know so well. Find Ma Rainey and Bessie Smith too. Have yourselves a natural ball. Say, ain't nothing like a blues party. Now don't mind our weeping, Sterling, for we likes your all blues and the strike of your hammer, and we ain't never caught you wrong. But I guess it just ain't natural for a blues man to stay here too long. The world rocks when you swing that hammer. True to the blues and the blues people, you just caught a hold of us some kind of way. We are all blue now, but your rhythm lifts us. Thanks for this hammer that strikes blues, that swings justice in all of our lives. Thank you. So when Tim contacted me to pull together some poet friends of mine for this event, I thought about the poets I know. Come on in, come on in. It's chairs up here and whatnot. Come on in, have a seat. Have a seat. The people in the front, we do a collection later on, so you gotta pay more. But but yeah, so when Tim invited us and I saw this beautiful collection, these amazing artists, I also thought of my poet friends who are also visual artists. And so whether it's photography or painting, graphic arts, I thought of these poets to pull together for this event. And so I'm gonna bring up the first poet. His nom de plume is Gavri-el with the V. And I know this guy professionally through our work, but also I know him as an artist, a wonderful photographer, and he's new to the DC poetry scene. He's a babe compared to us old people. And we want to bring him up first to perform. Gavri-el, give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for this amazing exhibit and this space. I'm thinking of the poet Gerald Stern when I heard him talk about how he thinks in poetry.
Wow.
So I'm hoping some of you might get inspired by that today. So my first poem is inspired by this exhibit right here, To Harvest a Dream Buried in Dust on Care and Blackness. Your spyglass shows my eye what's next. You spin me far from here and now, where neighbors need to push you down to feel as tall as trees or mountains. Where disrespect means lashing out instead of looking inside myself. You've spun a dream with golden yarn. I dance to see the glint and gleam. I call your world the time to come, where rest and care are every day. People protect each one's esteem. Even in anger, they pause and reflect, swallow the word they know would hurt, the curse that they could never take back. The curse that they could never take back. I see support creates release. You offer windows on a world where I'm so safe I will let go. My worries fly so high they fade. I sigh, then laugh. My soul returns. I see support creates release. Caring havens are everywhere. I claim bathtubs as my refuge, hereby resolve to stay bubbly, overflow with gratitude. Recline with me. You need relief. Sometimes only a tub will do. I see support creates release. Now ebony cradles her plant. Rocking rhythm comforts them both. Her child, the plant, gives her freedom to feel her roots sink down and spread. Her aura shines, her smile returns, her soul belongs, her heart revives. I see support creates release. Tavan has heard the midnight chimes. Anne's cut herself, just wants to die. Yet just by offering his fruit, he soothes, renews, becomes the muse who strokes her skin, who heals her scab. She sees herself as worth touching, willing to rest, then greet the sun. I see support creates release. I open up and show my scars, knowing that no one judges me. I am my own sanctuary, grateful to live in this new world where my divine meets your divine. Goodness and mercy follow me now, all the days and nights to come. And this is a poem I wrote before, which seems to fit into the idea of care. When I was young, I breathed the dream. I pulled my bootstraps on myself. I said, move aside, it's all for me, and don't you even try to touch. Then I was ill, fell on the street. Good thing I did. My neighbors ran to give the help I'd never ask, so they, my blessings, saved my life. Then brought me soup with so much grace. I learned I'm not invisible. My power now, I see so clear, the district of community. I ring the bell that chimes, come here, to rest your soul, to ease your mind, to taste our words, to feel my heart. The district of connection, yes. I ask what aches you want to soothe. I coach the fight you need to win. I spring to life to help you rise. The district of compassion.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I wrote a couple of poems about Nicole Wandera's exhibit, We Meet Again. Alchemy of art starts in the heart, moves to the hands and gently lands, then to the mind, patterns designed, pulse and color, brighter, duller. What is your goal? To feed your soul. Create safe space. Give your girl grace to live her life despite the strife that's all around. She will astound. Children embrace, they draw and trace, new worlds reveal and make them real. Watch them restart the alchemy of art.
Yeah.
Thank you. You exercise to meet the weight of expectations of how a proper woman should behave, enforced by matriarchs who keep us all in place and prevent society from going off the rails. You aced your lessons in generational trauma. Then your children changed the curriculum. You saw them repeating patterns from your youth, so you showed them how to choose their own. You removed the weights that bent them low, modeled moving freely and reaching to the sky. Now they teach each other to blaze new trails and evade the traps while becoming whole.
Thank you.
This poem is inspired by Mark Tan's exhibit, Seen Unseen. Life on a timer. How does that feel? 6 months till your next visa, then half a year slips by, then 2 restless seasons, till packing, passport, plane. Please report to gate limbo.
Yeah.
You fly to unknown towns where no one looks like you. They ask, where are you really from? And wonder why you even came. And just when they start to see, pour some sense into their hearts. No surprise, visa time arrives, right on schedule for rust and ruin. So I say, stamp out fresh starts. What does it mean to belong? The soil won't shift under your feet, even if you don't look down. Find the folks who heal your hurt and grant you grace when you stumble. Now you're blooming, opening wide. Then it's visa time. You close up tight. Stamp out fresh starts. Is the visa vine choking you? So long, so twisted, so ready to tie you into hopelessness? Or else you shape your own destiny. All these years, riding air currents led you to today, ready to blossom. Is it more satisfying to succeed after slicing through so much? Now you settle in. What a stable phrase for where you are and what you've become. Stamp out fresh starts.
All right. Thank you. Now, gavri-el is using a prop. He knows in slam poetry you're not allowed to use props. So, but he's free of those strictures here. Thank you. Give him a hand once again. And the stamp actually had ink on it, and it says, what does it say? Get money, stamp money out of politics, something like that. Something. Yeah. What's up, Gilmore? All right, so the next person up is, I don't want to call this young lady a legend. You might think she's older than her 25 years, but she is an amazing part of the DC poetry community. She brings a voice that was so important for us to hear in the city and also made a pathway for others. I want to introduce my friend Naomi Ayala. Round of applause. Thank you.
And thank you for having me.
Yes.
Kenny is roots for me. Roots for me as far as poetry and beyond at the grassroots in DC. So I'm really honored to read with you and Brandon. So when I came to see this exhibit, there were many things that struck me. One of them, you know, was like defining beauty and who gets to do that, right? Another thing, earlier on, some of the pieces in the other room were sleep. You know, those amazing drawings, right? To be able to fall into slumber, you need to feel safe and secure, whatever that means to you, right?
Yes.
Hard to sleep with one eye open regularly, right? The other thing was the departures. When I first came in, I almost cried. I remember the first time I heard the boards with departures and arrivals back home. I'm from Puerto Rico. And the first time I took an airplane. I would come to see my dad worked at the airport for 15 years. So I would get to come in and hang out sometimes. But the day I got to get on an airplane by myself and come to the US was a big change. Yeah. So I wanted to start with a poem. So my departure for me, the hardest thing to be torn away from was the ocean. So I'm going to start with this poem about a little bit about what it's like to be torn from the ocean. Reading Neruda's The Yellow Heart on Rehoboth Beach. It used to be that long ago I would try to drown out the melancholy I thought I heard in the waves with loud music. To put an accent on festive for the sea, its thunderous bursts, so that I could kill longing. Now the bursts themselves muffle the hungry world, so that I can sit in the midst of it, become home again, the first fish, a silent hum, my only me now. You guys can play and jump in at any time. Thank you for your music. Snowbirds. A wave crashes right side of the windshield. I don't know if I relate to this song. They were always in flight and always arriving. I dreamt of sunset hammocks on a quiet beach. I dreamt of a free country. Interpreter. Tiene que salirse, I say again. The box store managers want him out. This is the second time today, one of them says. I think he just sleeps here in the back aisles. Señor, I plead now, Señor. And this time he comes to his feet, swaying like the New Year's pendulum. Pero no, he retorts, shouting, no, es que yo no tengo malas mañas. Not at all, the box store managers explain. They don't think he's stealing. But I know they'll call the police anyway. And so I ask the man who's now gone back to lying on the floor one more time, Señor, pues pégueme, he shouts, pégueme. Well then, hit me. This has always been my job while out getting a dish rack like today, or waiting in line at the metro, or crossing the street after a car accident, or shopping for food. This impartial stranger. Once I had to talk down a suicidal junkie and get her inside a wailing ambulance after 5 cops, 2 of them bilingual, had tried. Landing in the middle of everything was a duty assigned to me at birth. And one of my unspoken agreements all along, that it could be so if it need be so. Even when all is said and done and it's time for me to leave a scene, leaving is a pebble resounding in the hollow of my belly. Their suffering, my suffering, a sound I carry everywhere.
Yeah.
Love.
I like that.
In the hollow spaces, the wind mentions you. January, off the cuff, as if no one were being shot anywhere, no country were at war, no island in real trouble. The sky calls us all out, the gray and fog spreading like ink on wet paper.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you. Please applaud. Thank you. And I am gonna close with this piece. If that's okay?
Yeah.
Awake.
And I was gonna say maybe one from the book, so I can say something.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll read this one last. We're not reading Awake. We're reading Abuela, the Spanish for grandmother.
And Emma, can you mention the name of the book? And it's available at fine bookstores everywhere.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. This is from my 3rd book, Calling Home, Praise Songs and Incantations.
Yes.
Wherever you prefer to buy books, hopefully independent.
Yes.
Abuela. At the woman's jingle dress dance, she points to my cheekbones, asks, Am I Native American? Taino, I say, afraid someone might be listening. Sometimes I hide my smile in the oceans of white faces. They might not know that, like you, I am old on the earth. I think of you today, our ancestors, and want to walk off into these green fields of September, lost forever from the cities, sing to the sun. You live in me in the form of a river, this river that's ours, that gives our love shape.
Yes, yes.
Awake. Wow, that's sweet. If you're awake, you recognize one another with a single glance, across the distance even, deep and clear. Here the ear perks, a ripple is sent out, a hand that counts each undulation celebrates. There are not enough of us here, or we've gone into hiding, changed the way we surface. If you're reading this and know, please receive love from me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Naomi Ayala, let's give her another round of applause. And again, let's thank our musicians, Emery Diggs, Charles Christian. And so coming up next is a gentleman who's a cornerstone of the DC poetry scene.
Really?
Yeah, bruh. You in the museums. And so if you look up a history of DC, you'll come into the name of a group of poets called the Itchy Mug Poets. One of their founding members is here with us tonight. He's an amazing poet, fiction writer, and he also is one of the regular hosts at the American Poetry Museum in Brooklyn, where you can come see them usually on Saturday and Sunday. There are events with jazz and poetry. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Johnson.
Hello. Kenny says all that stuff, and it's like, sometimes I just like to say, I'm tall, that's all. Not for this first one. Nicole Wandera has a piece called Matriarchs.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of a poem from, I remember when I was a little kid. Camera. I stood on the wrong side of wooden bars, wanted to be with my mother. I did not have language. Me in the crib, learning the observer's skill as she lay on her bed, black and white American bandstand with dancers she knew by name, and a Dick Clark who really was young, glowing near her feet. I held the bars, prisoner of safety, separated from one who could play with her only child. But she enjoyed respite from my constant demands, not envisioning that I'd remember times before talk, write about them as if yesterday. Neither of us knew our lives, would be preserved by a child who once didn't know words nor the value of pencils and memory.
Yeah, yeah. And Brandon, can you say the book that you read that from?
Oh, this is from an old book of mine called The Strangers Between. It's nowhere.
It's somewhere, brother. That's what eBay is for.
Let's see, I think I'll do, yes. Tim Scott? Tim
Brown?
Brown. No.
Who?
I'm sorry, I should.
Okay, which Tim? Let's get our Tims right.
The art that with the sign.
Oh, yeah.
Reminded me of this government queue. In lines, folks fight for existence with rude people who barely know themselves. Proof supplied by anonymous record keepers holding my vitals leaves me statistically naked. So much information in so many hands, and still I'm invisible.
Yeah.
Motorcycle. I'm a motorcycle, baby. Wrap your legs around me.
All right.
Say, I'm a motorcycle, baby. Wrap your pretty legs around me. I'm the kind of mean machine, the last you'll ever need. The man been riding by, babe, making ugly noise. Say yes. Say the man been riding by, babe. Sure enough making ugly noise. Seem like every time I'm about to get me some, he come around with his boys. I'm your motorcycle, baby. I'll always be in gear. I'm your motorcycle sweetness. I'll always be in gear. My motor's always running. I'll be sweet music in your ear. We ain't got lots of time, sugar. They's washing all their sheets. Say, we ain't got lots of time, hun. They washing every sheet, yes they is. I'm trying to get next to you, baby, in the midst of all this heat. The man keeps playing our number. He know we done no wrong. He smiled, he laughed, he set a spell, make things a natural hell. I'll be your motorcycle, baby, cause we gonna get out of here. I'll be your motorcycle, honey. We gonna get out of here. Charlie's coming around the corner and he think we can't hear. You get a long ride on this chariot, child. Take you anywhere you wanna go. Get a long ride on this chariot, child. Take you anywhere you wanna go. Trust yourself with me, hon. You can get here, you can get there fast or slow. We needs to get on with it, baby. I ain't trying to be no thief. We needs to get on with it, girl. You know I'm trying to be no thief. But the quicker we end this dicker, babe, the sooner we get relief. I'm rolling with you, baby. We got a little time. Yes, I'm rolling with you, baby. We got a little time. Yes, we do. I ain't trying to work your last nerve, but I'm trying, but I'm feeling all the signs. Yeah. I'm safe as 10-mile road. I'm safe as 10 mile of paved road. Got lines I just won't cross. I'm cool. I'm calm. I'll do no wrong. Hey, we about to end this song. I'm a motorcycle, baby. Wrap your legs around me. Say, I'm a motorcycle, baby. Wrap your pretty legs around me. I'm the kind of mean machine that'll sure enough get you free. Yeah, sure enough, get you free.
All right. Yeah. Yes, sir. I heard you over there, Charles. Yeah, we about to charge the cover. Who got the drink? Who got the liquor?
Do y'all know In a Sentimental Mood? Please.
That's a good one.
Go on, kick it. There's another piece by Miss Wandera called Muses. I forget the name. Muses. Anyway, it has muses in it, and I'd have to pull out my phone to see the name. Let them go ahead and kick that.
What you need?
Oh. And that was Mark Tan, that one about the, let's see, it is called, yes, Muses Matriarch.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Beautiful piece of work. Go ahead. I like writing about my muse in different ways. So I'm going to do two pieces of like that. Amused. I turn corners hoping to smack into you. I wait in subways for your escalator hum sachet. I have a seat in stadiums yearning your long-fingered caress. When we sit amidst large crowds, the clatter is a shield around our whispers, as if you and I are alone, the only figures of interest cohabiting an impressionist modeled mayhem. As if, see, you do this to me. These moments where I'm a minister marrying word to image, where weary lexis rustled from slumber become the cast of thousands for a picture's worth. I'm afraid to recite your names, afraid to reveal a secret identity, force you to hide where I might see you only out the corner of my eye. Because of our time-to-time kisses, in anger, you fix me, banish what I can't recall to surf the tip of my tongue forever. Sometimes I fear I'll invoke the wrong spell, and you'll move to the neighborhood in my brain where I've been barred, where if I knocked, you'd hide behind the door as if I were selling cosmetics or cosmology. So I say things that won't offend to define you. Share only the most public details with my friends. Savor our moments together like a deep, sweet mug of tea. I rest my lips on your hem. Words high dive off my shoulder, make small splashes on the page while you and I lie as old lovers do. Amused, we can still break the surface, leave a bead of blood behind.
Yes, sir.
I know you're there, pasting words to my cheek on our ride beneath the city from a gathering of the heightened word. You are my guide and whip, my puzzler and clue, how I see you, in high heels, dress draping legs, hugging your waist, like a man returned from abyss. A rough cut of hair I want to handle, your blackness deep as a long steeped mug of tea. I lie and I say I don't ask much of you, but like those who know a power you hold spare, thoughts of wielded feather or truncheon, enough to make a man do right, try so hard, everything he does doesn't seem enough. Underground, headed north, I see moss in the corners pointing the way. Slip me words like code. Swing your hips to the car's rhythms while we slide this tube. Water has a way of seeking its own level in us. If they'd make this track a circle, we could ride all night, eyes never meeting, our thighs rubbing like two sticks waiting for fire.
Yes, sir. Brandon.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here to unlock your box of dreams. Brought my bag of mojo to heal what bottom feeders tore in you for sport. I got crystals to melt them slugs quicker than ice in drinking jar tea. Got stones to move your blood faster than a rabbit in a lion's den. Got enough high john to make a shadow-scared barfly kiss Stagger Lee's wife.
Come on.
Lay your fears before me like a pocket-worn coat you thought you couldn't pitch. I'll send that nightmare limping up dead-end alleys, tail tucked in its back pocket. I'll rub dust in your palms, make your enemies think twice about messing with a woman who grins like a bad girl with 10 brothers and a dog named King.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. I thought you knew. I'm your conjure man, your root-working, shape-shifting hoodoo prince at your service. What some fools toss to curbs as weed, I throw in pots to cure what no one else knew you had, and I know where to put them and how long to leave them where. I know things a bird on your shoulder couldn't learn listening to codes in your labored sleep. That's why I'm here. I'm the question you answer before waking, the solution to every problem lesser men set below your blistered feet. I am the prayer you chant with each rush of breath God grants you. I tie bows with my toes, comb my hair with my tongue, bring life to the inanimate with light from my eyes. Let me be clear. Naomi, I'm your come moon, come midnight, come anytime you need to crack the laugh of an angel and string it round your neck. I'm black olives in your navel. I'll make your skin a shot of gin. I'm slow kisses that burn tears like lamp oil. I'm nights have never been this noisy, never been this crazy. Conjure, man. So, now, may I come in?
Brandon! Brandon! Woo! That's my friend. He's been doing this for a minute, you know. So I'm going to close out and with a few pieces and working with Charles and Emery. And again, I guess a couple people have mentioned Wandera's pieces, and I really loved her artist statement around matriarchs. And so I want to begin with the piece for my matriarch. But first of all, I want to introduce, because when you're in a big family of ours, like 8, and the oldest child is your sister, you got 2 mothers, okay? And you need to know that. I want to introduce my sister, Natalie Carroll. Give her a round of applause. And this piece is a poem to honor the women in the public housing community I grew up in Northeast, called Montana Terrace. The interesting thing about Montana Terrace is that in the early 70s, they became one of only 2 public housing communities in the entire United States that were able to create a resident-run council. So they ran the community themselves, and the group that ushered that in were all women. And I want to honor some of those women here with this poem. This poem is called Montana Terrace, or Progression to Natural, for Mommy, Miss King, Miss Teensy, and them. In my neighborhood, mothers were mountains, their jagged hearts climbed by children and husbands seeking elevation. Men, weak with selfish intentions, chipped away at their souls. Blasting caps of hatred shook their foundations. Bearing the load of family, they carried a race on their backs, a steep ascent to destiny. In my neighborhood, mothers were mountains. I have seen them crumble and become women and love them still. Thank you. And that's in the African tradition, that would be our libation for those who are not here. So now we're gonna get a little crazy. And I want to first also mention, we got another great DC poet in the house, my man Brian Gilmore. Gilmore. You got the UDC Law shirt on, you know, from back in the day. That's my man. And Gilmore, when's the next reading? Brian Gilmore runs through the University of Maryland reading series at Busboys and Poets. When's the next reading out there?
October 11th, Wednesday, October 11th, 7 p.m.
Emery Diggs will be there with his...
We're poets, and then Project Censor. You heard of Project Censor?
Nah, you got to tell us about it, man.
Project Censor is the group that's the news that you don't make it to the news.
Right.
And then they tell you that news.
Right. So Brian is very important to the scene. And so I'm going to tell you, he's very important to me because I love his work. Please check him out. Google his name. He has some amazing work. This is a piece I wrote for Gilmore back in the day, before he had kids anything. This is called Dolomite Meets George Bush, for Brian Gilmore. Kick out his grill, spill some James Brown sweat on his cold, pale heart. Slam his hand in the door of a 75 caddy with rusted hinges. Wash him and his flag in some lye. Stick a diamond needle in his eye. Then drop it on the reggae track, you know, the one with all that bottom. Slap him with an old Fender bass. Tie an English only sign to his nose and drop him off at Barrio El Diablo. Ball up your fist and hit him with a short poem. Let his ass know he done landed on Mr. Gilmore's property. See, that was good. I like that one. All right. So yeah, this about to get, let's keep that groove going right there. I like that. Let's do this one. This was I ain't gonna do all this. We'll censor it. This is called Never Piss Off a Poet. Please, you're gonna end up in one of their verses. Never piss off a poet. Don't try to play me, chump, because I'll meet you in the back alley on a rainy, moonless night with a loaded verse in my pocket. I'll push a sawed-off syntax against your nose as a dog that looks like your daddy drains the last swig from a dead Thunderbird bottle, and a black cat humming Bessie Smith blues with a stainless steel stiletto simile pulls a jack move on your brother, as a rat recites Dolomite while a signifying monkey presses a sharp analogy against your throat till it drips blood-red rhymes. Keep messing around here. You might find your government on the looking down the business end of an ugly metaphor. I'll slap a cold metal stanza against the temple of every Republican Democrat I see. I'll make George Bush list my Italian sonnets. Give Newt Gingrich a quarter to sign my meter. Make Nancy Reagan shop at Woolworth with a free verse credit card. I'll hold your family hostage till you decipher every Ishmael Reed poem written. I'll put your mother's father's ancestors in a bawdy ballad, tie an epic poem around your neck, drop you in the river Styx and let my man Charlie Tuna go through your pockets full of posy. I'll shoot a blazing lyric through your covered wagon, sneak up behind you in the middle of town and put a riddle in your back, because I'm an ink slinger with no code. I'll put you in a leaky canto back to England, drop a Moroccan bomb on your Shakespeare club, make them say, to be, yeah, dig that baby, like not to be, dig it? I'll make Stagger Lee the poet laureate, bust a satire cap in the ass of your humanities department. I'll let Shine steal your girlfriend while crooning a funky couplet that sounds like Cannonball Adderley live in Detroit. I'll push you in the middle of a fight at the Crazy Bar Lounge on Friday night. I'll have two muses from Chicago take you from a drive in a tanker truck with full clips in their puns. I'll drive a 16-wheel illusion through your china shop, show up at your next dinner party and stain your white carpet with spilled limericks. I'll grab you by the collar and slap you with an ode to Malcolm X. Then maybe you'll finally learn, as this ticking soliloquy threatens to blow up your country, that pissing off a poet is as dangerous as oppressing black people. All right. Told you it was going to get crazy, man. There goes the neighborhood. So this is an older piece too. This is called The Hate of Washington. And it's the right audience to read it in front of. Because this is for a guy, so we have art all night. One of the really important figures in DC arts is a confusing and difficult character, Marion Barry. But it was Marion Barry who really infused the arts with money in the city and made it a high priority in its government. So anyway, as I travel around the country, and you know, you mentioned Marion Barry, and mostly white people can't understand the adoration that black people have for Marion Barry. People like me who got my first job through Marion Barry. But so this is a piece called The Hate, and I used to be just amazed how his name could conjure up so many vibrations and emotions. So this is called The Hate of Washington, D.C. For those of you who ain't from Southern black culture, a hate is like a ghost, you know? It's another great poet back there, Dari Strickland. All right, so The Hate of Washington, D.C. Marion Barry is a black voodoo king, the Diamond City poltergeist. If your right hand itches, Marion Barry will come to your cookout and dance to Chuck Brown's Bustin' Loose. If your left eye jumps, Marion Barry will be cleared of all charges. If a bird flies into your house, Marion Barry will hold your grandmother's hand until she passes. If a black cat crosses your path, Marion Barry will get him a job and restore his right to vote. If the dogs in your neighborhood howl for 5 nights in a row, Marion Barry is late night creeping. Say his name like Mayor Barry, and that last lottery number will come out for you. If you name your firstborn child like Marion Barry Taquan Jones, he will read poetry for your child and give him a ride to school. If you cook black-eyed peas on New Year's Eve, Marion Barry will be the first person to cross your doorstep, followed by the FBI. If you watch the video of Marion Barry getting arrested in slow motion, you can see Joseph DeGeneva masturbating in the background and snorting the ashes of the Home Rule Charter. If you say Marion Barry gets on my damn nerves 7 times, real fast, the city paper will hire you on the spot. You will get free Washington Post papers for the rest of your life, and a lonely federal prosecutor will find love. If you say Marion Barry is my man 3 times in a deep voice, 3 white people on U Street will disappear. A girl will trip during her cotillion in Ward 3, and go-go music will cascade from a cloud over 1/3 of the city. If you get lost on Alabama Avenue, just scream Marion Barry's name, and a guy named Ray Ray will act as your GPS. Marion Barry is a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich at the Nation of Islam rally. Marion Barry is a pig foot stew at a bar mitzvah. Marion Barry put DC on the map and then sold the map. Marion Barry gave you your first job. Marion Barry cost you your last job. Marion Barry is an anti-Negro machine. Marion Barry has embarrassed your grandfather for the last time. Marion Barry is a lightning rod for white anger. Marion Barry was a legend. Marion Barry is a martyr. Marion Barry knows what's in mambo sauce. Marion Barry was hooked on Viagra and hubris. Marion Barry is a hate haunting DC politics. Marion Barry is the this we need to put an end to. Marion Barry is the last person at your party, and he will not go home. Thank you. Yeah, that's an old one. And then I want to close out with this piece called DC Wishes, and it will appear in my next book when Marion Barry, no. Marion Barry used to come to our readings, when I ran a program, a nonprofit called DC Writers Court. Marion Barry would come to our fundraisers and read the children's poetry, so I appreciate him. This is DC Wishes, and let's do an Ellington tune for this one, okay? And again, that's Emery Diggs and Charles Christian, our musicians for the night. Christian, yeah. Did I say that? Huh? Carlton Christian?
No, Charles Carroll.
Charles Carlton. Y'all didn't let me say the name wrong all damn night. Damn, bro. I apologize, man.
Hey, Charlie Christian is famous.
I know. Maybe that's what went to my. Charles Carlton. Thank you, brother. All right. So yeah, we're gonna close out and play. I mean, this is called DC Wishes, and this because I'm old, so I read this before some young poets. This old head wishes you junkyard at the icebox, Chuck Brown at the panorama room, Mary Steaks, cookouts, Rock Creek sodas in Rock Creek Park, a seedless joint rolled as tight as EU in the pocket at Anacostia Park, Miss Teamsey's bread pudding, block parties, open hydrants, balling at Kennedy Playground, Baggy John's jump shot, before the addiction. Old heads dancing at the chateau. Your brown arms around me, our hips in a desperate grind, choreographed by red light and Skip Mahoney's falsetto. I wish you a northern breeze in July, nightly thunder showers in August. I wish you silent politicians and loud bidwish games. I wish you and me, our mothers, alive again, laughing cinnamon scents in our kitchen. Our daddies sober, locked in tunk games, rockers as a Georgia Avenue barbershop on Saturday. I wish you low COVID rates and low murder rates. I wish you safe neighborhoods with real neighbors, not arrogant urban pioneers and neo-settlers. I wish you the end to naive romanticism about the disappearance of crack and crime-filled neighborhoods. I wish you front porch courting, corner debates, Marvin Gaye spilling from someone's open window, making out the quiet storm at Haynes Point, shopping on 8th Street with Grandma, Eastover with Mommy, musty rummage sales at First Canaan Baptist. I wish you U Street muted by 4 feet of February snow, fireworks at Malcolm X Park, pre-Korean mumbo sauce on wings, steak and cheese from Eddie's. I wish you salmon, swords, a Bamaless world swung to a Duke Ellington tune. Thank you all for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Again, I'd like to thank all the poets. I'd like to thank the Hillyer for hosting this celebration. And please, while you're here, get a chance to check out this amazing exhibit. These artists are incredible. Thanks again to Gavri-el, Naomi, Brandon Johnson, my man Charles Carlton, C-A-R-L-T-O-N, and my cousin Emery Diggs on bass. Thank you all for being here.